Hey there, and welcome back to Temporary Locals.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Megan. This week, we are taking you to the state capital of South Carolina for the Join the Walk event. But before we get into that, if you are new here, Jared and I are an adventure-loving couple sharing real stories and experiences from the places that we've actually been. Whether you're planning your next adventure or just here for the storytelling, you're in the right place. Subscribe and join us. We put out new episodes every week. So with that, we'll go ahead and get into our episode. Typically, we kind of start out with current events, but our current event is actually our episode topic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this was going to be a current event for a different episode, but we weren't going to do an episode on what transpired yesterday, but I think it's important. I think people would like to hear about it. People that weren't able to be there. People from all over the country and the world are following along with what's going on, and since, we were kind of part of it, I think we thought we should talk about it.
Yeah. And so by it, we mean day 77 of the Walk for Peace. So there was a Join the Walk event at the West Columbia Riverwalk Park and Amphitheater. And then so the idea was to walk from that Riverwalk to the South Carolina State House. And, how did we hear about this? We've seen it all over social media. The Walk for Peace Facebook page has amassed over 900,000 followers as of January 11th, 2026. And that number I see it keep growing as we've been following the page. So, And what is it? The Walk for Peace is a 120-day or 2,300-mile journey by Buddhist monks with their loyal dog, Aloka, walking from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. to raise awareness of peace, loving kindness, and compassion across America and the world. A little about Aloka the Peace Dog, because I've seen that. There's also a Facebook page for him.
Right.
And that, a lot of people are just following along because, they love dogs. So Aloka is the loyal companion marked by the peace heart on his forehead. And he's also walking this 2,300-mile journey with the Venerable monks across America, spreading peace and loving kindness one paw step at a time. And an interesting fact about this dog is his journey is really special. He was once a stray wandering in India and began following the monks. And he walked with them for over 100 days across India, a lot like the Walk for Peace that they're doing today. They don't know, where he came from. They think he's about 4 years old. But they say that his loyalty and peaceful spirit are clear to everyone he meets. And, a lot of pictures you see online are of Aloka, the peace dog.
Yeah, I posted a number of photos from yesterday, which you can find on my social media, but a friend of mine asked, well, did you get any pictures of Aloka, of the dog specifically? So I also posted that one because that wasn't one of the ones that I originally posted. But yeah, he walks with them on a leash. He is leashed usually. And but I think on certain days when he needs to rest, they do have a RV that follows them around on their journey that he stays in sometimes also.
Yeah, there's also a large amount of people online that are like concerned about the dog. And so you'll see every once in a while the Walk for Peace page or the Aloka page will post like, oh, they're taking a rest day, like we're taking good care. There's a vet that they meet with and stuff. So they do publish that. But getting into why, like, what is the Walk for Peace? Why are they doing it? I wanted to, it sounds simple, like walking for, raising awareness for peace. But I wanted to just read a post from their website from January 4th. And it's titled Walk for Peace, Why We Walk. Because I think that just kind of perfectly states it. And kind of goes into like little like nuances and how you can incorporate it into your daily life, even if you're not able to go like walk. you can still, kind of receive the message and incorporate it into your life. So here is that Walk for Peace, Why We Walk post. It says, some people may doubt that our walk can bring peace to the world, and we understand that doubt completely. But everything that has ever mattered began with something impossibly small. A single seed, a first mindful breath, a quiet decision to take one step, then another. Our walking itself cannot create peace, but when someone encounters us, whether by the roadside, online, or through a friend, when our message touches something deep within them, when it awakens the peace that has always lived quietly in their own heart, something sacred begins to unfold. That person carries something forward they didn't have before, or perhaps something they had forgotten was there. They become more mindful in their daily life, more present with each breath, more aware of each moment. They speak a little more gently to their child. They listen more patiently to their partner. They extend kindness to a stranger who needed it desperately. And that stranger, touched by unexpected compassion, carries it forward to someone else. And it continues, ripple by ripple, heart by heart, moment by moment, spreading outward in ways none of us will ever fully witness, creating more peace in the world than we could possibly measure. That is our contribution, not to force peace upon the world, but to help nurture it, one awakened heart at a time. Not the Walk for Peace alone can do this, but all of us together. Everyone who has been walking with us in spirit, everyone who feels something stir within them when they encounter this journey, everyone who decides that cultivating peace within themselves matters. One step becomes two become 1,000, 1,000 become countless, and slowly, gently, persistently, not through grand gestures, but through 10,000 small acts of love, we can help make the world more peaceful. This is our hope. This is our offering. This is why we walk. May you and all beings be well, happy, and at peace.
Wow. It's powerful.
Yeah, and so...
And being there was very powerful, too.
Yeah. And that's why, we wanted to talk about this. And we discussed whether or not, how should we approach this episode or whatever. But I think you said it best, was like, this is bigger than all of us. Mm-hmm. It's not about us, but we wanted to share our experience.
Yeah, I think it's important because it is such a big thing. And it's about coming together as a community, as a society, and as a people, as humanity. But I think I don't want it to seem like we're making this about us or it's like for content for our podcast or anything. But I think it's important to share our experiences. That's what we do here. And I think people would be interested in to hear about it, hear a little bit of the background of it, and also to hear like what it was like to be there.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important. And I also think it's important to point out that, especially being there, you kind of realize, this movement and what they're doing transcends politics. It transcends religion. It's like, it was a really overall positive vibe of everybody there. And no one group or another seemed to really try to like co-opt it into their side or the other. And in a time where here, especially in the United States, we're very divided politically and everything. It's like, it was nice to see people of all different races, ethnicities, political, whatever, just all kind of come together and decide like, this is important and we all want to do this together and we all need to find a way to like come together and move forward, in society. And I've heard other people say that, monks like this don't normally leave the monastery unless things have gotten pretty bad.
Yeah, I was going to say that exact same thing. I've seen, people talking like they don't do this unless, they have to or they feel they really need to. So when this does happen, it's like a historic moment and you should pay attention. And a lot of times they don't speak like they are now, and we should listen. And you said it's not political, and it's not, but if we just go down that avenue just briefly, there's a lot going on back and forth, but you hear people repeatedly say, oh, we all just need to be able to put our politics aside and like have a conversation with one another, and be able to have that discourse, calm discourse, and each side kind of gets so they just see red, and it's hard. But I think that's exactly what this movement is about, and trying to foster is those moments of just like being a little bit more mindful, taking a pause, like letting your first word actually be like a breath of, let me calm down and let me step outside of myself.
Right. Yeah.
When engaging with others.
Yeah. It's about unity. And I think that's the overall message, or that's what I get from it. And I think that's probably what the monks themselves believe. I don't think that they're interested in the political spectrum. I don't think they're interested in what your religion is. I don't think they care about any of that. I think that they just want people to be kinder and better to each other. And so whatever your beliefs are, whatever your views are, I think this can kind of, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
It applies to everybody. It applies to all of us. So we are going to go over some of the history of it, some of the information about it. Anybody that's interested, you can look it up and kind of see where they're going to be, if they're going to be anywhere near you on their journey up north. But we're also going to talk about our experiences that we had yesterday, because I think it was pretty powerful. And I think it was, like you said, historic. It was a moment in time that I think everybody will kind of remember when this was going on.
Yeah.
And so it was cool to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. There was that woman when we were walking.
Yeah. And there was an older woman, and she was like, this reminds me of the 70s.
Yeah. And it was just a brief comment that someone else made and we overheard, but we kind of looked at each other and chuckled. And it was like, yeah, I wasn't alive then, but I know what you mean.
Right. Yeah.
So a little bit before we get into our experience, just how to follow along with the Walk for Peace. They are primarily using a Facebook page for updates, and that is facebook.com/walkforpeaceusa. They have a pinned post that has all the following information that I'm about to go over, but I think it's important to share. So they have an overview map, which is a Google map, and it shows the full 2,300 mile route from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. It's got a map legend. It'll show you like their estimated direction, and it will also show their current location. But the caveat with this one, like the overview map, is this is just to kind of get an idea of where they're going. If you want to track them daily, they have a daily live map, and there's a separate link to that. And again, all of these links are linked in their Facebook page. So the daily live map can track each route each day. And you'll see it updates every day. So like at the end of the day, you'll usually see like where they're at, and there's like a bed icon that kind of shows where they are for the night. So it'll change. Just wanted to call that out. So like after they've stopped, you won't see the update until for like the following day, until they post it the following day. But in general, they have visiting hours during lunch, 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then they have visiting hours in the evening when they stop for the night between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. And these are in Eastern time. They post a nightly update post on their Facebook, and that has the confirmed locations for the next day. I recommend that you screenshot them because they do kind of post frequently. And if you're trying to get back to it, sometimes it can get lost in the feed. And then the daily live map. Also, and the update posts, they should connect. They're synced up, and that's the most accurate way to track the journey. And they say to always check those for the latest information. We'll get into our little mishap with missing out on where they were speaking because I didn't have service. So that's why I recommend screenshotting. so that at least you have the previous updated one. But again, those are all linked on their Facebook page. And they also say that the routes and the plans, they can change due to weather and just logistics, which we have an experience about that too. And they update the posts and the maps quickly whenever changes occur. So with that information on like how you can reach them and where their information is located and how to use it, we'll get into our experience.
Yeah. So it actually started Friday night. We wanted to go see them in Lexington, which is a smaller area outside of Columbia. And yeah, it was nighttime. They were going to stop for the night. And do you remember what the actual place was called?
Tom's Den.
Yeah, Tom's Den, which was that a restaurant?
I'm actually not sure.
I'm not either. But it was a small area, and there was thousands of people there.
Yeah. We got there late, so we didn't get to see them walking up. We got there probably an hour into their
prayer speech.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got there was already a big crowd around, and just the like nature of that location, you couldn't really see them. I have like a tripod telescoping thing that goes like 5 feet up, so I was able to kind of hold that and like see, but we weren't able to see or really hear because of I don't know if it was the direction that the speakers were pointed and we were off to the side, or if there was just the barrier of people that were like absorbing the sound, or also the, traffic on the road, probably a football field behind us.
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of all those things. I think also the monks probably are pretty soft-spoken. And so it was really hard to really hear what they were saying. And again, there was just so many people. People were like trying to climb trees and climb up onto barriers to like see them and witness them. And we kind of went away from that experience, I feel like, not feeling like we really got the full experience. Not that it was really about that, but
I really wanted to hear what they were saying, and I just felt I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't get that. So we knew they were going to be in Columbia the following day. I didn't know how big of an event it was going to be. But I remember turning to you and being like, I want to go back, but I want to do things differently. We wanted to make sure that we got there early with plenty of time, and to kind of like take our time and be more mindful.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's essentially what we did. We woke up that next morning. We got up early, and we decided to go into town and kind of make a day of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we drove into Columbia, into downtown. We parked in a parking garage right there in the River Arts District by the Riverwalk, and we had plenty of time to kill, so we just kind of walked around. And I think it's also important to note, and we also mentioned this, is like, even though we live in the Columbia area, we travel so much to other places, and especially when I was like traveling on the road a lot, that we don't really ever go to Columbia. Like, we don't go to the place that we actually live in. And I mean, we've been downtown together a few times, but we don't really go down to Columbia a lot. And we haven't really ever explored it a lot together, despite living here. So it was kind of nice to walk around Columbia and just kind of check out the cool little shops. And, that area over there by the river, by River Street and by the Riverwalk is a really cool area. It's really artsy. There's a lot of murals. So we just kind of walked around and we went and got breakfast.
Yeah, it was also for me, I don't know if we've mentioned this on the podcast that we want to do the Palmetto Trail hike. I can't remember if we've mentioned it or not.
I think we did, yeah.
So we are preparing for that kind of in the background. We want to do a through hike, like a couple night, hike. And so just recently you got me a bag for that. So I also wanted to, that just came in like that night, Friday night. So yeah. I wanted to kind of test it out. So that was cool too, to be able to put that on my back and walk around downtown with it. Same thing with my hiking boots, making sure that I'll be comfortable walking miles and miles in those things. But yeah, I mean, walking around the river district, I was really surprised by how like colorful it was. Like you mentioned, the murals and all the sculptures around. And just that the Riverwalk itself too. There's like a little amphitheater down there, which we originally thought was a meeting spot, which is kind of going back to their posts and how things can change logistically. So we were at the amphitheater, and our plan was actually, so we got there around 10 a.m. They weren't supposed to be at that location until around 1:45 or 2.
Right, and that's why we started just kind of walking around, checking things out. And we had breakfast at a place called the Hideout. Shout out, Hideout.
Yeah, we got some good croissants.
Mm-hmm.
And wait, we had limeades. You had a strawberry limeade. I had a blueberry limeade.
Yeah. That area, the River District of Columbia, almost gave me like a Asheville kind of vibe.
Yeah.
With the murals, and it's very artsy, and the little cafes and a lot of local spots. And it's also kind of a hilly area of town.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me a bit of Asheville, and it's just it's a cool area of town.
Yeah.
And so we enjoyed doing that.
Yeah. Also the parking. I only knew to park there because it was it was the local police. I can't remember if it was like city. It was probably City of Columbia, but they posted a map online. And that's another tip if you're planning to, visit the monks, either along their walk, or I think they generally say they welcome you at their visiting hours. So at their lunch or evening stop, check your local city or, law enforcement pages, because typically they will also share information on event planning, on like where you can park, and things like that. And so I saw that the day before and kind of saved that map because it showed several parking areas on that block, and that's how we found that parking deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and then our original plan when we got down there was we were going to actually walk before they were to be at the River Walk Amphitheater. We were going to trek across town, go across the bridge, and go downtown to the Soda City Market, which they have on every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been there before many times and everything. It's a really cool market in Columbia that they do right on Main Street. And all kinds of vendors and cool shops. It's, we've said it before, but we're a sucker for a market. So we were going to do that. But as we walked past the amphitheater again, we noticed people starting to gather, even though it was very early.
Yeah.
And so we made the decision by the time we get all the way downtown Columbia, we're not going to have much time to get back. And we wanted to make sure we had a good spot to witness this. And so we decided to just stay and hang out at the Riverwalk.
Yeah. And the reason that the main reason that we were going to go ahead and like do that walk, which is basically the walk for peace and then back before it actually was like officially the, walk with them event, is because we're training for that hike. So we were like, we plan to do a long hike.
Right.
That day, and then kind of adjusted our plans as we realized that we wanted to go to this event in Columbia. So we were trying to figure out how we can get our miles in and also attend this event. But yeah, I don't regret that decision to stay back. We still got like almost 7 miles in that day, which isn't the long hike I think that we wanted to. I think we wanted to do a little bit longer, but I'm not upset about it. We still got steps in and an awesome experience, but I'm glad that we ended up staying behind because that crowd started piling up. And even though they didn't end up coming to the amphitheater, I don't have any like qualms or like, wish we would have done it differently. I think the way the day rolled out, I think we.
Yeah. We should also point out how perfect of a day it was for all this.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
It was, it's January and it was high 70s. It was almost 80 yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was perfect weather. It was windy, but the wind was kind of nice also because it was hot.
Yeah.
And, but perfect weather to be outside. It was beautiful out. Everybody was just having a good time. And yeah, like you mentioned, the monks didn't actually stop at the amphitheater. So the way that that's kind of set up is the amphitheater is sitting right next to the bridge, the Gervais Street Bridge, and you can see it from there. And we heard that at a certain time, it was like 1:45, the monks were going to come down to the amphitheater and give a prayer and a speech and all that. So everybody was packed into the amphitheater here, and we were sitting there waiting. And I had this feeling, I thought, because remember I even said, I was like, I don't know that they're going to stop here.
Yeah.
Because again, the route can change. They can change, it's all up to them and what they kind of feel.
And their lunch stop was only a 15-minute walk from the amphitheater.
Right. And I was like, I don't see them beginning to walk again and then stopping 15 minutes later again.
Just to then walk for, what was it, another 20, 30 minutes to the State House? Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know that they're going to stop here. And sure enough, after sitting there for hours and waiting, and everybody's down there waiting, and people are all like, it was cool to be there anyway. But one of the police officers came down, and I kind of already knew what he was going to say, but he kind of said to the crowd, or to anybody that could hear him in earshot, which we were, he was like, hey, the monks are not going to be coming down here. They're not stopping here. They're going to continue on across the bridge. And so at that point, it was kind of like everybody got up, and it was kind of a mad.
It was about to be a mad rush. And then he raised his voice and was like, calmly.
Yeah.
And then people kind of slowed down and slowly started making their way, because there was already a crowd built up on the street. So we're in the amphitheater in like a group of people, kind of like a circle of people on these amphitheater steps. But up on the street and the bridge, we could see there was already crowds up there. So we weren't going to get like a quote unquote good spot to see them, but we just kind of made our way. We were able to see the tops of their heads and like the police escorts as they went by. But then everybody just filed in behind them, and they shut down that whole 4 lanes of the Gervais Street Bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody started making their way from the amphitheater up to where everybody else was, up on the bridge and at the street. And I mean, I saw elderly people climbing up this hill, because there's a walkway that goes up, obviously, but there was so many people that people were just going through the grass and going up the hill. And I mean, I saw like elderly people and like just everybody climbing up this hill to get up to the bridge.
Yeah.
And once we did, we kind of made our way through the crowd and just followed along, and everybody did.
Yeah. And so we followed that. I mean, it was just amazing to be part of that like wave of people walking across the bridge. Beautiful day, sun is shining, looking out, over the crowd of people and the river. It was just an awesome moment. There was all kinds of things to see, and just it felt like it was very unifying. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, and like I kind of mentioned before, it didn't feel like it was being co-opted politically or otherwise. It felt, for the amount of people that were there, you didn't really see anything political. You didn't see anything really religious. It was everybody. It was a really positive energy, and it was like the amount of people. I don't know that I've ever been in a crowd that large, and it really did feel historic in that way. I feel like it was just, man, it was such a wild thing to not just like witness, but be a part of.
Yeah.
And so to be in that crowd, it was, and I've seen like posts and stuff online of news, different news agencies and stuff saying like, oh, hundreds of people. And it's like, it wasn't hundreds of people.
It was thousands.
And it wasn't even thousands. It was tens of thousands. They shut down the 4-lane bridge, and it was completely full of people, shoulder to shoulder. And it went on for at least a mile,
Yeah.
And even like it extended past the bridge,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how many people total were a part of this walk, but it was a lot.
Yeah, it was. And they had, law enforcement escorting the whole way. And I don't know when that whole thing started, that they were getting escorts. So, like, they've been walking since Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And early on, if you've been following this, there was a monk that was hit and injured.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they were already getting police escorts before, or if that was kind of like a turning point moment in this where, then law enforcement started kind of getting involved and providing escorts. Because now you'll see they kind of do a handoff when they cross jurisdictions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing that you'll see if you follow along to the Facebook pages for like local law enforcement, that they talk about how they are partnering with, the previous jurisdiction to handle the like, not handoff, but to take over the
escorting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we've heard a lot of versions of the story of how the monk was injured, and I'm not sure that I have like the full picture, but what we could find was from a news source of WSB TV2 Atlanta. And it is, and forgive me, I'm going to do my best, Fra Ajaran Mahadam Phamasan, a well-respected senior monk at the Wat Lao Buddha Kanti Temple in Snellville, was one of the several Buddhist monks walking near Dayton, Texas on November 19th of 2025. This, I think, started in October.
Yeah.
But police say a truck hit their escort car, and that car slammed into the monk Mahadam. And so doctors gave him the choice to go through several surgeries to save his leg or amputation, and he chose amputation. And in an interview with WSB TV2 Atlanta, he said no regrets.
Yeah.
And so he said that losing a leg is the sacrifice that he didn't mind making if it helped to spread the message of peace, love, hope, compassion, harmony, and kindness.
Right.
And so that's the information that we could find. I won't share like any of the speculation that we heard and caused us to look into it. But there is a lot out there, but that's, kind of the gist of what we could find.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so kind of going back to our experience, we were walking with the group. We saw quite a lot. Some things that stand out to me are the bird in the backpack.
Yeah, we were walking behind, obviously, a bunch of people in a large group, and some woman in front of us had a backpack on, one of those see-through backpacks that I guess people normally put their like small dogs
They're
in.
cat carriers.
Cat carrier?
They are cat carriers.
But she had a rope in there going across it and like a little food dish and water, I guess, and there was a bird in there.
Yeah, it was a cockatiel.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not a bird expert.
We'll post that picture too if you're interested, because I took a picture of it.
Yeah, it was so interesting. I was like, wow. Because, I mean, you saw people with dogs, dogs on leashes, dogs in strollers, dogs in people's arms, that's not, out of the norm. But I do remember that was interesting.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really cool event. It was very positive and all about peace and all, but like there was a lot of people and it was kind of chaotic in the sense that it would have been overwhelming for an animal, I think, or for a bird. And I just feel like that bird probably wasn't having the best time.
Yeah, I think when we saw it, I don't know what gender the bird was, but he had his face in like the back and you could kind of hear him squawking. And I was like, man, this poor bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we kind of followed the crowd, and I'm not sure where this is like the part of our story where there was some miscommunication on my part, I think, or misunderstanding. I thought I had read somewhere that they weren't going to be speaking until 4 p.m. And so it was like 2:30-ish when we got to the State House. And we saw the crowd, like if you've seen the State House, there's like 4 sides to the State House and there's like gigantic steps. And like we approached the the first side that you can see when you come from the, what is it, 378, US 378 eastbound. And there was like speakers and gear, so it looked like there was stuff to like set up. And so we did see a crowd of people kind of walking around the building to the other side, but I don't know what I thought. I didn't think that they were speaking yet. And we were hungry because we had been there for hours and we didn't bring snacks with us. We brought one bottle of water that we were like rationing. And so we were getting kind of shaky and not quite hangry, but there were signs.
We weren't very peaceful in that moment. But also, once everybody got to the State House, there were so many people. Once everybody kind of got to the State House, there was like a line of people that kind of were walking around the back. But a lot of us kind of dissipated and kind of went wherever and kind of spread out all around the State House. So we didn't necessarily, it wasn't like everybody was going in one direction. Everybody kind of spread out and like split up. And so we thought like, oh, we have time, you know?
Yeah. And so we went down Main Street and just kind of tried to pick somewhere to eat.
Because that's the other thing is as we were walking down Main Street, there's all kinds of really awesome restaurants and stuff on Main Street in Cola. So as we're walking, doing this peace walk, we're like, that place smells good. Ooh, yeah. There's grill marks. They have really good burgers.
Yeah.
So we were just getting hungry as we were walking downtown.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. We totally were. We were like, ooh, Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a Twin Peaks downtown Columbia.
Yeah. Twin Peaks, they have good tacos. Shout out Twin Peaks.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I remember seeing all the people walking. I didn't want to walk away from Main Street because we were hungry. So I was trying to like look on their Facebook page, but because there were so many people concentrated in that one area, I wasn't getting, like, I had full 5 bars of 5G, but it wouldn't load for me. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go. We'll get a bite to eat. Hopefully they have Wi-Fi. I'll connect and we'll see what the update is. And so we did that. And when I connected, I saw they were live streaming the talk, the prayer talk that they were having on the state capitol steps. And so we were like, oh man. So we kind of put that on my tripod. And
well, first we walked back down Main Street looking for food, and we were going to go to Market on Main.
Oh yeah.
And we walked in, and I don't know if it's because of the amount of people downtown on this day, but she was like, our kitchen's closed.
Yeah, they said they weren't opening until the evening, until like 4.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, at least she told us, because I would have been really upset if we had like sat down and then wanted to order food and they were like, oh, yeah, our kitchen isn't open yet. We're just doing drinks.
Yeah.
That's happened before.
I've only been there a few times, so maybe that's how it is every day. Maybe they don't do lunch. I don't know. But so yeah, we decided to just keep walking down the street, and we saw a sushi spot.
Yeah, taco sushi.
Taco sushi. They have tacos and sushi and burgers, right?
Yeah, they do.
They have everything.
Yeah, they had a big menu.
Yeah.
We got a crazy roll,
mm-hmm.
taquitos, and stuffed jalapenos. And also enough sweet tea to satisfy an elephant between the both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, they had really good homemade sweet tea. She just kept bringing them. It's like that time we went to Dave & Buster's and I drank 14 sweet teas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were also like a bowl in a sushi shop.
Oh, dude. I don't know what was going on with me, but I kept dropping my sushi, and then I spilled, the wasabi fell off, and then I was like sitting there and I knocked over my thing of soy sauce, and I was just, yeah, dude. I was like a bull in a sushi shop.
We were laughing so hard. I had to stand up and go get you another napkin.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I was just knocking everything over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, so we watched and listened to part of the speech. And I don't know when it was that we realized, because we were going to try to go to the other side of the State House, but I'm not sure when it was that we realized, like, oh, actually, the route to their night stop is coming down Main Street.
Yeah.
So we were already like perfectly set up in a good spot to see them walk by, which we hadn't gotten a clear sight of yet.
Yeah, we were going to try to rush back to the steakhouse, but when we got out front of the sushi shop of Taco Sushi, we looked and like people were already starting to line up on the sidewalk right outside. So we went into the median.
Yeah, we thought we were slick.
Yeah, we were standing in the median, and I had a suspicion that like we weren't supposed to be there because the amount of people there trying to get like a good view of the monks as they walk, I was like, why are we the only ones in the median?
More people came after us.
But at first I was like, we're the only ones out here. I'm assuming we're not supposed to be here, but we were also like, well, we're not going to move unless we're told to. And sure enough, as the monks started walking down the stairs from the state house to come our way, the police were like, hey, everybody needs to get on the curb, like get out of the middle of the road.
Get on the sidewalk. Yeah. Yeah, and I actually appreciated that they gave that instruction instead of just saying like, don't get on the median. They like gave the affirmative of like, this is what you should do instead of just like stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really appreciated that. But yeah, so then we kind of waited on the curb and it wasn't long before, they started heading down this way and we got to see the line of, monks on their walk, and we got to see Aloka, the peace dog.
I think it's important to point out how many monks are there? There's 19?
Yeah, I think it has changed. Like we said, there was the monk who lost his leg. And so I think it has fluctuated. I've seen between 19 and 24. I didn't count yesterday though.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a really good vantage point in that moment, and we were able to, even though we had already done the walk with them and everything, there was just so many people. But as we were standing on the curb there on Main Street and they were coming down, we were able to get a good view of them. We got some really cool pictures of them, which we'll post. And yeah, it was just really awesome to see them coming down like a parade.
Yeah, and just seeing them interacting too with the people. I'm sure you've probably seen the videos where, they either hand out flowers or they'll take flowers from people in the crowd and kind of wave or like bow and smile. And it's just, I don't know, a really joyful moment. Mm-hmm. And it was awesome to experience that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really, I mean, if you've seen videos or pictures, they're usually gifted a pin or something of that sort. And so the lead monk, I know his name is out there. I do not know it. But he has a whole, like his robe is kind of decorated in all of these pins. And it's a really powerful visual to see a representation like that of all the places that they've been. And some of them are like full police shields, like full size. Some of them are like, department pins or whatever. But it's just really cool because they're, I don't even think they're halfway through their journey, and just all the support so far. It's just a really cool thing to see. But yeah, there also behind them, there was a crowd going to their night stop, which was at the Lutheran Theological Seminary in Columbia. We opted out of that one. We, kind of just let them go, but there was still a crowd of people walking with them. I don't know if they walked the whole way or what. But
we felt like we had experienced it. We had been there. We did it. We got to see them. We got to listen to them. That was 2 days in a row now that we were kind of following them around. So I think we kind of felt like, okay, like it's time to let them go.
Yeah. Yeah. And we walked back kind of to the state house, and there were still people around, but it was definitely not the crowd that it was before. There was lots of law enforcement groups. You could see state troopers. You could see SLED kind of just like huddled up in their little cliques.
Right. Yeah.
And just kind of standing there, and there was really nobody on the steps. So we kind of had that to ourselves. That was cool to get some cool like architecture photography pictures and also just pictures together to commemorate the day, I guess.
Yeah, again, to go back to what I was saying is like we live in Columbia, and I've been to the State House before, but like we don't. I mean, you and I have never been there together before,
No.
so it was kind of cool to go down there and experience the State House together. It's a cool building. It's very historic, and so yeah, it was cool. We took pictures and kind of explored the grounds of the State House.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that on its own is really cool, and we've talked about this before, but just getting up close, like walking up all the way to the steps and just seeing the detail that is in the architecture of these buildings. They don't make buildings like that anymore.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I do appreciate any time we get to visit, a building like that and really take in the detail.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, after that, we just headed back, retraced our route. It was a lot less
people. Yeah.
Yeah, still, I mean, downtown was still bustling.
Yeah, it was.
But obviously they didn't have the street blocked off anymore, but there's sidewalk. You can walk across that bridge. People walk and bike across it all the time. But it was kind of almost near sunset, not quite, but like the sun was coming down. And I remember the sun was behind some clouds, but it's that moment when like the sun rays are shining through and you can see each ray, and it's just so
it was
beautiful.
Magical. It was after an awesome day like that, just kind of at the end of the day, walking back across the bridge after we had experienced that, it was a really special moment,
Yeah.
And then even the drive home, like once we got to the car and we drove, out of downtown, it was just a beautiful drive, and the sun was setting, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I said, like, I mean, driving back with the windows down and just the weather was so nice. And we said multiple times yesterday, like, it's January and it's 77 degrees. Mm-hmm. I mean, we got home after 5, and it was still 76 degrees. Yeah. And I mean, just a week ago, it was like in the 40s.
Well, even today, it's colder today.
Yeah, very windy also. We're recording this on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I even joked around like the monks' presence blessed our weather this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be cold for them once they get further north. And but they're going to be heading to Charlotte in the next few days, right?
Yes. So today, Sunday, January 11th, they headed to Blythewood. I'm pretty sure that was their evening stop, but again, check their Facebook page. They are going to go up through Charlotte. They had a route change. They were supposed to go through the upstate of South Carolina, but they diverted and came to Columbia. I'm not sure exactly why. I don't know if it was the whole time their plan they were going to go through the capital, but I think I remember saying somewhere that they were going to like state capitals. Mm-hmm. They were recognized by the state of South Carolina and the city of Columbia, kind of before that, their peace speech and prayer. I'm not sure exactly what to call it, but yes, I don't know if that's a plan for them to do, visiting each state capital going forward or not, or if that was just unique to South Carolina. But again, if you want to follow along, they have their Walk for Peace Facebook page that has all the links. They always post updates every day and, throughout the day, and reflections too. So we felt blessed, to have been part of this event. Again, we've said it multiple times. It felt, historic, and I'm just amazed at the traction that this movement is gaining online. I mean, all the people that I know personally that are talking about it and sharing it, and just, seeing it all over social media and the news, and things like that. It was really cool to see, really enjoying the movement and the conversations that are happening around it too.
Right. It's nice to see something positive in the news and on social media.
Yeah.
Because so much of what we see today is negative. And I think it's important. And one of the reasons I would assume that they're doing this is to show that there is still good in the world and that there's still good people and that, you know, there's still positivity. And it was an overwhelmingly positive experience. Like I said, everybody, despite how many thousands of people there were, everybody was very kind to each other. Everybody said, excuse me and thank you. And, you know, somebody would drop something, you'd help them pick it up. But, you know, people were helping older people. It was a really cool thing to be a part of, to witness, but even more importantly, to be a part of. And, you know, if they end up coming through anywhere near your area, I would suggest going to be a part of that.
Yeah, and put some mindfulness into it too, because in situations like that, like the first night that we went, we were in traffic and it's like that can be frustrating and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, really exercising what this whole kind of message is about, of just, you know, either plan ahead or have some grace in the moment.
Yeah. And carry that into your life also.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But especially, you know, when you're wanting to be a part physically of the journey, and they express in their posts all the time about, you know, how just like following along their journey is you're walking with them in spirit. They say that in posts a lot. So very inclusive of everyone, even if you're not able to physically be there, because it's really only in the southeast of the United States. But kind of a summary of the thoughts. I think the actual Walk for Peace Facebook page summed it up best in their post today, Sunday, January 11th at 9:12 a.m. So I think we'll just end that and I'll kind of read what they posted. So they said, walk the journey with us via photos. Join the Walk and Peace gathering in Columbia, South Carolina, day 77. Yesterday in Columbia, South Carolina was extraordinary. These photos capture the Join the Walk event and peace gathering at the South Carolina State House, where thousands of people joined us and welcomed us on our way. The streets were filled with hearts walking together for peace. The energy was beautiful. The unity was palpable. The love was overwhelming. We are so deeply grateful to everyone who came, who walked with us, who stood with us, who shared this moment with us. Your presence made this day unforgettable. This is what peace in action looks like. This is what happens when hearts come together with one purpose. This is proof that peace is not just an idea, it is alive and blooming in all of us. Thank you, Columbia. Thank you, South Carolina. May you and all beings be well, happy, and at peace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Extremely, extremely powerful. But that's it for this week. That's what we got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Before we get into how you can reach us, I wanted to call out again. There was a recent post. If you have photos from any part of the journey, videos from the walk, stories, reflections, or experiences to share, this is another post shared directly from the Walk for Peace page. So you can share those experiences in two places. One, you can post in the official Walk for Peace community group, which is separate from their Facebook page. So they ask that you kind of share with the community, connect with other supporters, and celebrate the journey together. And this is only on Facebook. Or second place, you can send them to Quang Dao, and it's at quangdao.peace on Facebook or Instagram if you'd like your content to potentially be featured in the official Walk for Peace pages. Please send it to Quang Dao via message. That is the team member who manages, composes, and posts all of the content on Facebook and the Instagram pages for Walk for Peace and Aloka the Peace Dog. So the several excerpts that I read verbatim on this episode were authored by Quang Dao. And he says, by sending your content submissions to my page, it helps me separate content submissions from all of the other questions and inquiries sent to our official pages, making it much easier for me to review and organize your beautiful contributions. Your photos, videos, and stories help spread the message of peace to countless hearts around the world. Every contribution is precious and deeply valued. So I just wanted to share that so you would have that and know that if you missed that post. But with that, once again, thank you guys so much for listening. This has been a really fun episode to make. It was a fun and just overall awesome experience. We are, once again, Temporary Locals. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. We're on Instagram at Temporary Locals Podcast. You can find Jared on Instagram at Rover_Stover and on YouTube at Rover Stover. Stover. I think I said Stober. Anyways, I'm Megan. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at Mego Goes Global. And with that, if you guys enjoyed this, please share the episode, give it a like, comment, or leave a review, and go visit the Walk for Peace Facebook page and Aloka the Peace Dog Facebook page. And with that,
I'm Jared.
I'm Megan. Thanks for exploring with us.
And remember to be a local anywhere you go.
Bye.
Bye.